So, what is paradoxical thinking? Well, first I think we need to start by defining paradox. Simply put, a paradox is when two opposite experiences or ideas are both true at the same time and stay true. Some common life paradoxes are feeling confident and unsure, being independent and dependent, and being yourself and fitting in. So paradoxical thinking is really thinking about how to hold both opposing experiences or ideas at the same time and still function. Which relates to F. Scott Fitzgerald's famous quote that the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. So, how does paradoxical thinking relate to adolescence and rites of passage? For this, we need to understand what's happening to the adolescent's brain and how it develops. According to Dr. Ian McGilchrist, British psychiatrist, neuroscientist and author, the two hemispheres of our brain hold opposing ways of thinking about, seeing and responding to the world, which causes paradoxes in us. So, because of our brain's structure and function, we are essentially paradoxical beings. The brain is also said to be malleable or plastic, more so when you're young. The term for this is neuroplasticity, and it basically means the ability to make or break neural connections dependent on what we do or don't think about. Adolescence is the best time for rites of passage, as the brain is highly plastic and can make or break neural connections more easily than in adulthood. It is a time when young people undergo major transformation, and also the time when paradoxes hits them the hardest. They face many paradoxes. A central paradox is that of continuity versus transformation, when they are no longer a child and not yet an adult. Without guidance through community rites of passage, this in-between space is often experienced as fragmentation rather than growth, showing up as confusion, anxiety, risk-taking, withdrawal, or rigid identities. Other paradoxes they face are dependence versus independence, belonging versus differentiation, competence versus incompetence, and certainty versus uncertainty. The term paradoxical thinking is unfamiliar and complex for most people. A more user-friendly way to put it is to say both and thinking. For example, with the dependent versus independent paradox, it could be stated as, how can I be both dependent and independent? Paradoxical thinking, or both and thinking, is uncomfortable and without guidance can create anxiety and confusion, and is one of the most difficult thinking styles to get your head around. But it's worth it, because it fuels resilience, creativity and innovation. The business world is increasingly using it. For example, in 2004, Jørgen Vig Knudstorp, CEO of Lego, used paradoxical thinking to turn the struggling company into a global success. If big business can use it to build economic and financial capital, then surely we can use it to build social capital. For this purpose, I've created a set of 4 guiding principles to help the general public and adolescents navigate paradoxes. They can be found in my YouTube channel, and the video is titled Paradoxical Thinking, a Practical Example. In it, I demonstrate how I use it to come up with new and creative solutions to my problem. Here's a quick summary of my 4 guiding principles, and they are: know my intention, know myself, know nothing, and know when I know nothing. For more on these and how I use them, go to my video, Paradoxical Thinking, a practical example. You can use the QR code here to get to it. So overall, I think we could be more explicit in using the terms paradoxical thinking, and or both and thinking, so that it helps students understand that what they're experiencing is normal, that it's okay, and as Professor Wendy Smith says, help them become comfortable in the discomfort. If you'd like to dive deeper into all of this, I highly recommend Professors Wendy Smith and Marianne Lewis's book, Both and Thinking, Embracing Creative Tensions to Solve Your Toughest Problems, and Dr. Ian McGilchrist's book, The Master and His Emissary, The Divided Brain and the Making of the Western World. I hope this has inspired you to learn more about paradoxical thinking, and thank you for watching.